Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is April 25th, 2025, and Real Madrid today completely embarrassed and humiliated themselves with their usual antics, threatening not to show up to the final and pulling out of all the official activities ahead of the Copa del Rey final. We're going to talk about what happened and why Real Madrid did that. Also, Barcelona's transfer market just became more complicated as several of the players they're trying to offload seems like they're going to be causing some problems. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and this is the Barca News Live podcast, which is on every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, where we discuss Barcelona news, but where I also get to interact with you lovely people in the chat section by reading your comments, answering your questions, and getting a discussion going. For those of you who be watching when the podcast ends, don't worry. I will be putting timestamps in the description and chapters in the timeline in case you do want to skip through all the discussion and get straight into the news. Now, tomorrow, I will be leaving town. I'm going to not too far away. I'm going to Toronto, Canada. I'm going to be there for work. I'm going to be working there all of next week. But of course, as usual, when I travel, I'll take my laptop, I'll take a camera, and I'll still do the daily videos. They won't be videos. They will be live streams. As you know by now, if you've been watching the channel for a while, when I travel, I do short live streams every day just to get you the news because, of course, I cannot film, edit, and upload because I will not be home. But don't worry, you won't miss on any Barcelona news because I will still do those short live streams. Having said all that, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. If you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure to Goal Kids, Kid Bag, or Fanatics. If you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure to bet us. All links are down below in the description. If you click on them, you get access to some pretty cool deals and offers. All right, let's talk about Copa del Rey final and the absolutely embarrassing joke of a small club called Real Madrid, who honestly should take the word Real out of their name, because if you don't know, Real in Spanish means royal. And the way Real Madrid have been behaving, there's absolutely nothing royal about it. Madrid are an embarrassing, shameful, dirty club that only showed us even further how embarrassing, dirty, and how much of a joke they are with everything that transpired today, because today has been an absolute crazy day. Now, it all started with statements by the referee, Burgos de Bengochea, who is the referee for the final tomorrow. He made some statements during the referee press conference that absolutely angered Real Madrid. Real Madrid immediately reached out to the Royal Spanish Football Federation demanding that the referees all be changed for tomorrow. Then, when the Royal Spanish Football Federation decided not to do that, Real Madrid pulled out of all official activities. And finally, there was even talks about Real Madrid considering not showing up tomorrow and defaulting in protest against the statements that the referee, Burgos de Bengochea, made. Now, what exactly happened that made this joke of a club, this small club called Real Madrid, get so angry? Well, we have to recap a little bit, because for people who haven't seen the channel, or for Madridistas whose heads are so far up their asses that they don't know what's going on, as you know by now, Real Madrid, through Real Madrid TV, have had a campaign for the past 2 years where every time a referee is assigned to a Real Madrid match, Real Madrid TV immediately launches a video attacking that referee. They edit it where they take out all the mistakes the referee had throughout his career. They put it together and they make it seem that that referee is corrupt, that that referee is a thief, that that referee is out to get Real Madrid. They've been doing that every single week, week after week, month after month, year after year for the past 2 years, just demonizing every referee that gets assigned to them to make it seem like they are these victims of this huge conspiracy where all referees are out to get them. Even though, factually speaking, if you look at the data, Real Madrid are the club who have most benefit from refereeing mistakes all throughout history, not just in Spain, but also on the European level. That's not an opinion, that's a fact. The data is there, the stats are there that show Real Madrid have benefited the most from refereeing mistakes all through the history of football in Spain and in Europe. Again, that's a fact, but according to Real Madrid, through Real Madrid TV, they are the victims of this huge conspiracy where referees are always out to get them. Now, why has Madrid been doing this? It's clear. It's because they're trying to put pressure on referees. They're trying to influence the competition, and it has worked. Because just this season alone, almost every Real Madrid match, there always has been controversy, huge blunders by the referees in favor of Real Madrid. In fact, I made a video about it, going over every single mistake that have benefited Real Madrid. I did it for the first half of the season. I'll probably do another video at the end of the season because I'm not here to just spew off opinions. I'm here to prove those opinions with actual data, with actual facts. Now, not only has Madrid been trying to influence and put pressure on referees through the Real Madrid TV videos, what makes it worse is that they have been doing it with absolute impunity, where neither La Liga nor the Royal Spanish Football Federation have done anything about it. They've just let them do it week after week for the past 2 years. Meanwhile, when a coach or when a player of any club that's not Real Madrid TV, that's not part of Real Madrid, they complain about the referees in a press conferences, they automatically receive 3, 4, 5 match bans. But Real Madrid, they can do whatever they want. They can criticize referees. They can suggest that they are thieves, that they are out to get them. Now, the referees are starting to get tired of this because they're constantly being demonized by Real Madrid TV, and no one is saying anything. No one is protecting them. So today, during a press conference ahead of the Copa del Rey final, the assigned referee, de Burgos Bengochea, said the following statements. Now, in fact, he broke down and started crying, but this is what Burgos de Bengochea had to say, and I'll make it bigger. When your child goes to school and is told his father is a thief and comes home crying, it's really tough. What I'm doing is trying to educate my son to tell him that his father is honest, that he makes mistakes like any other athlete. It's a real pain, and I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. The day I leave here, I want my son to be proud of what his father was and what refereeing is, which has given us so many values. What many of our colleagues are going through, not just in professional football, but also in grassroots football, is unfair. Everyone should reflect on where they want to go, what they want from sports and football. So these are the statements by the referee who, again, broke down and started crying because his son has been bullied in school where students have been calling the referee a thief. And this is the kind of damage that Real Madrid are doing through their television, because not only are they damaging the league that they're part of, this is how stupid these people are. This is how stupid Madrid fans who say that, yes, the league is corrupt is. You don't realize that by saying that every referee is corrupt, you are undermining the same trophies that you won. Because if all the referees in La Liga are up for sale, that means whoever won the league that season, it was the highest bidder, and therefore every league, every trophy was corrupt. That includes the 33 La Liga titles that Real Madrid won. But they don't realize that because they're stupid. By the way, this goes to Barcelona fans too, who say, oh, La Liga is corrupt and they're against Barcelona, blah, blah, blah. You're also undermining everything that Barcelona achieved because you're saying whoever the winner is because they paid the most, and therefore everything that Barcelona won is corrupt and everything Madrid won is corrupt. But not only is Real Madrid undermining the competition that they're a part of by accusing all referees of being corrupt, they're also ruining lives in the process. Because here you have a kid, an innocent child, going to school and having to suffer bullying because Madrid, they're out there calling every referee a thief. Let's not forget what happened to Del Cerro Grande, who showed a red card to Jude Bellingham, a well-deserved red card for saying fuck off to the referee. And what did they do to him? Death threats, They showed up at his house. They suspended him. They went after his businesses because this is the Real Madrid machinery. That's how it works in Spain. Florentino Perez is the most powerful person in Spain, not in football, in Spain. And this is what Laporta called Madridismo sociológico or sociological Madridismo, where they affect every aspect of life in Spain. So when people come here and talk about Negreira and referees favor Barcelona, I'm like, you're obviously an idiot who knows nothing about Spanish politics or Spanish history, because to think that Barcelona are favored by anyone in Spain, whether it's the authorities or politicians or money or referees, you obviously don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You probably just started watching football last week, and you should get your head out of your ass and maybe do some reading. But anyways, now because Bengochea made these statements, Real Madrid, instead of saying, "Oh shit, look at what we're doing," at what point do we say maybe we should stop ruining lives just for the sake of winning? No. Instead of apologizing, hey, sorry, your son had to go through that. No. They upped the antics. They demanded that the referees be pulled out and completely changed. They didn't want this referee because they said he was not going to be impartial. So apparently complaining about Real Madrid going after this referee now means you're not going to be impartial. And it's like, how about you don't attack him to begin with? Maybe that's a good solution. And he never said he wasn't going to be impartial. He simply complained and said it's not fair what's going on, and he cried because his son is being bullied at school. Also, why are you surprised that these referees are complaining? You've been attacking them for 2 years. You've been calling them thieves and corrupt, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I can't believe these referees are upset. It's like me punching you in the face. You get upset, and then I'm like, oh my God, why are you upset? I only punched you in the face. You shouldn't be that upset about it. You're obviously not impartial because you obviously have something against me because you're upset. That's not how it works. Anyways, the Royal Spanish Football Federation, of course, said they weren't going to change the referees. It's not feasible. The match is tomorrow. Well, technically today because it's already Saturday in Spain. And Real Madrid got even more angry, and they decided to withdraw from all the official activities, including team photo, press conference, training session, and tomorrow, Florentino Perez will not be present in the luncheon with Laporta, with representatives from the Royal Spanish Football Federation, and everyone else who has been invited to this luncheon before the match. Absolutely embarrassing. And then later, El Chiringuito, who's pretty much the mouthpiece of Florentino Perez, made the announcement that Real Madrid were seriously considering not showing up tomorrow in protest, which of course would mean that Barcelona would win by default. But then they backtracked, they changed their mind, and they're like, no, we never said that. But they have pulled out of all official activities. Absolutely embarrassing. This club is an absolute joke. And with everything that transpired today, it shows me 4 things. First of all, that Real Madrid is a dirty club, and it always has been a dirty club. Because again, all they're trying to do with the Real Madrid TV is put pressure on referees and influence the competition. And they're doing it with total impunity, which shows me that this club is absolutely dirty, which is crazy because according to them, they are the greatest club ever. They're the biggest club ever. There's nobody better than them. And they were going to win every competition with total ease because they had signed Mbappe. Well, if you're so great, why are you resorting to these tactics? There's no need for this, right? You are so good. You're so much better than everyone. You're going to beat everyone with total ease. Why are you resorting to these tactics? Which brings me to my second point. That not only is Real Madrid showing their true colors, that they are a dirty club, they're showing all of us that they are a small-minded club. A club with an inferiority complex. Because this is how a club with an inferiority complex acts. We're talking about Real Madrid, the most powerful and richest club in Spain. A club that has been backed by the government, by the political elite, by the business elite, and by every powerful, rich person in Spain. Since the inception of Real Madrid, they've had all the money, the support, and the resources to be the biggest, most powerful club in Spain. Meanwhile, Barcelona have had everything go against them, including Franco, the dictator who assassinated a Barcelona president, who prohibited the Catalan language of being spoken, who waged a civil war against Catalans, and yet a club who had everything going for them was humiliated time and time again by a club that had everything going against them for more than 20 years at the hands of the greatest football player ever, Lionel Messi. And because of that, they have never gotten over that fact. And they have this inferiority complex where they know that despite everybody backing them, they were still being humiliated by a club that had everything against them. And because of that inferiority complex is that Real Madrid acts this way. Because if they were truly confident about their greatness and their capabilities, they wouldn't need to resort to these tactics. And not only is Real Madrid a dirty club, they're a small club with a small mentality. They have an inferiority complex. They're an absolute joke. And also brings me to my fourth point, which is that Real Madrid are scared. Real Madrid are scared. Real Madrid just got humiliated 4-0 in La Liga at the hands of Barcelona in their own stadium. They got humiliated again in Saudi Arabia with 5 goals. Barcelona scoring 5 goals, which could have easily been 7 or 8 hadn't Szczesny gotten a red card at the 50-something minute. And now they're nervous that this might happen tomorrow again. So what are they doing? They are preparing. They are covering their backs in case this happens again. Because if they win tomorrow, great. The competition is fair. The referees are amazing. But if they lose tomorrow, now they have an excuse. And they're going to be like, see, I told you. It was the referee. That's why we lost again. That's why we got humiliated. Because it's not because if Barcelona win, it's not because Barcelona are playing as a unit. It's not because Barcelona have an identity and a system of play. It's not because Barcelona are the most competitive team in Europe. It's not because Madrid are absolute shit show this season. It's not because they don't have any tactics or identity or any system of play. No. It's the referee. And that's what they're doing. They are preparing their excuses ahead of time in case they get humiliated again. Absolute shit show of a club, joke of a club. And as I said, I suggest they remove the word Real from their name because Real means royal, and there's absolutely nothing royal about what Real Madrid do or how they behave. They are a joke. They are an absolute joke, and it's not even a funny one. Anyways, let's do the comment section. I know this first segment took forever, but there was so much to say about this absolute joke. And let's start with Richard's 2 incredibly generous donations. Starting with the first one, where Richard said, just when I didn't think Madrid could hit a low, they have disgraced even their fans, listening to their YouTubers, even they are embarrassed. Absolutely agree with you, my friend. Real Madrid are great at one thing, and that's lowering the bar time and time again. Because as I've said before, when you put in question all the referees and all the competitions you're a part of, all you're doing is putting in question everything you have won. Because it doesn't work like that. You don't get to say if you win, oh, everything is fair, everything's great, but if you lose, everything is corrupt. It does not work like that. It's either always corrupt, including the times you won and the times you lost, or it's always fair, including the times you won or the times you lost. So which one is it? Are the 33 La Liga titles that you won all corrupt because the referees have always been corrupt? Or are they all fair just like all the other titles that Barcelona won? You pick. But that's the society that we live in today. A society that does not take responsibility. A society that has never been taught defeat, never been taught how to accept defeat. So instead, they come up with cheap excuses. Argentina didn't win the World Cup. Argentina was handed the World Cup. Why? Because I don't like Argentina. So therefore, instead of accepting and being an adult, a mature adult with a functioning brain, instead of accepting, hey, that's sports. Sometimes the team you don't like wins. No. Let me justify it by saying that, well, it was because Infantino gave them the World Cup, right? And this is no different. Real Madrid are losing. They're losing bad. Instead of accepting that, instead of saying, hey, we're absolute shit, let's figure out a way how to improve. No, let's blame the referees because that's the only way that could explain their defeats, right? It's not their play. No. It's the refs. Well, if it's the refs, then there's nothing you could do, right? There's nothing to improve because you didn't do anything wrong. You did everything right. It's the refs who fucked you over. And for me, honestly, I'm all for it. Go for it. Because the longer they blame the refs and they blame everyone else, the longer they won't look inward and the longer they won't accept their mistakes and the longer they won't try to fix their mistakes because there's nothing to fix, right? It's not their fault. They're amazing. They're the greatest club ever. It's the referees who are fucking them over. So I'm like, hey, go for it. Which is, by the way, what I used to say last season about Xavi. I'm like, as long as we're blaming refs and the budget and injuries and the grass, we're never going to improve because there's nothing to improve because it's not your fault. What are you going to improve? Nothing, right? And people were like, oh, Mo, you're a hater, blah, 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 blah. Well, it's the same thing with Madrid this season. So if you could see it when Madrid do it, I hope you could see it when Xavi was doing it last season because it's the same shit and neither is okay. And the second donation of Richard, who says Madrid are stupid. They're crying like babies, robbed them of training, have distracted themselves from the game tomorrow. We'll take that. Visca Barca. Visca Barca, my friend. And I really hope that tomorrow the team takes this as fuel to go out there, completely dominate Real Madrid, take them apart, dismantle them, and thrash them. Because that would be the best way to shut them up and to send them a clear message. This is not about refereeing. This is simply about we are better than you this season, period. And the only way to show them that is by going out there and thrash them again. Because if you get thrashed, honestly, there's no excuse. You cannot blame that on the referee. You might be able to blame maybe one goal that you can argue, oh, that should have counted, or one penalty that should have been awarded. But if it's 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, it doesn't matter. So I really hope the team takes this as fuel, and tomorrow they go out there and absolutely thrash them. Jose Aguilar says, God, good thing I'm not a Real Madrid fan. Dodge that bullet, losers. Shout out from work. I hope you're getting your work done, my friend. But thank you for joining. And Morgan says, hey, Mo, blessed night. Hope all is well. Looks like Madrid making things hard for the finals. I don't think they're making it hard. They're just embarrassing themselves. I mean, this has been a headline all over the world. Like, the whole world is just standing there in shock. Like, this is supposed to be the greatest club ever. Acting, not even like a small club, like acting like your neighborhood club. So not even 4th or 5th division. Your neighborhood club that's not even part of any divisions. That's how they're acting. But honestly, I'm not surprised. Anyways, let's do more news. I know usually we do the first segment of news and it's several bits of news combined and then we do the rest. This time I decided to switch it around because I had to talk about this joke of a club called Real Madrid. So now let's go back to what usually is the first segment of news, which is several bits of news combined together. Is starting with, of course, that the team is officially in Sevilla. They flew to Sevilla today. They completed a training session ahead of tomorrow's final against against Real Madrid in the Copa del Rey. And look who was amongst the team players. Of course, our captain, our goalkeeper, Ter Stegen Airlines, Marc-Andre Ter Stegen, who is officially declared fit. He flew with the team to Sevilla. He trained with the team in Sevilla at the Cartuja Stadium. And our captain is officially back after that long, arduous recovery road that has seen him out since September. That's what, 7-8 months after that serious injury to his knee where he had to undergo surgery. Now, of course, it's not expected that Marc Ter Stegen is going to play tomorrow. He just came back from an 8-month injury. You know, he's this is not going to be nowhere near competitive level. So, of course, he's not expected to play tomorrow. He's not expected to play in a Champions League either. You know, we have 2 semifinals. That's not the time to be, experimenting. But it is reported that Hansi Flick could play Ter Stegen in the Real Valladolid match, kind of like to bring him back into competitive rhythm. And honestly, I cannot wait because despite what everybody says, because people have very, very short memories, Ter Stegen is our best goalkeeper. He's miles ahead of Wojciech Szczesny. But of course, people have very, very short memories, and all they can remember is this second half of the season where, yes, Szczesny is doing great, but that doesn't mean that he's better than Ter Stegen. He's not. Anyways, the next bit of news is Pedri, our magician, our maestro, Pedri, the best midfielder in the world currently, because he has won Best Player of La Liga for the month of April, a month where Barcelona started with a draw against Real Betis, followed by a victory against Leganés with an own goal by Leganés, which was a terrible, terrible match for Barcelona, and then with an epic comeback against Celta Vigo, and then finally an easy win against Mallorca, in which Pedri did win the MVP of the match, breaking his record that he has set at Celta Vigo. At Celta Vigo, he had 17 completed. Sorry, my allergies are really bad, guys. It's fucking spring over here, and I'm dying. But in Celta Vigo, Pedri had gotten 17 possessions back, which was a record for the most in La Liga. And then in Mallorca, he broke his own record, making it 18. And as such, he has been chosen as the best player of La Liga in the month of April. And that also means that Barcelona has won the most best players of the month, including Hansi Flick, by the way, who won the best coach of the month. Can't remember what month. But anyways. Now, the next bit of news is in regards to the Spanish Super Cup, where Barcelona thrashed Real Madrid 2-5, winning the Spanish Super Cup. And the news is that Laporta has announced that the bonuses from winning that competition will be paid out during this month. So April 30th, when the players get their checks, their monthly salary, that will include the bonuses from winning that trophy. And hopefully they will have another bonus from winning the Copa del Rey final tomorrow. But that's all the small bits of news for the first segment, which usually is the first segment, but we did it second segment. Let's get back to the comment section, and then we are going to talk about why Barcelona's transfer market is getting complicated. All right, let's see. Where did we leave off? Paul says, hi, Mo. Real Madrid are destroying football. What a damn shame. Unreal. Absolutely agree with you, my friend. And McBarca says, we getting robbed tomorrow. I don't think so. I think Barcelona have showed that they are a very competitive team. They can thrash Real Madrid. And if tomorrow the team comes out and plays like they played the first El Clásico match in La Liga, how they played the second El Clásico match, which was the Spanish Super Cup final, there's no reason why we should be worrying about referees. Something, again, that Flick has said multiple times, something I've said a million times on his channel. If you go out there, you do your job, you don't have to worry about referees. Referees only become a problem when you're barely winning matches, like all of last season. When you're barely winning 1-0, 2-1, then the referees make a sense. Because, yes, if you are 0-0 that entire match because you suck and you're not creating chances, and then all of a sudden the referee misses a penalty kick, yes, that's bad, because that penalty could have been 1-0 for you. It could have been meant 3 points. But if you are winning 5-0 and the referee misses a penalty in your favor, who gives a shit? 6-0, sure, is better than 5-0. It's still 5-0. It's still a win. It's 3 points, or in the case of tomorrow, it still means a trophy. Evgeny says, hi, Mo, feeling confident for the final? I do, but still there's some nervousness in me. In Clásico, I'm be turning point for us winning it at all. I'm confident, but yeah, I'm also nervous because at the end of the day, it's still a final. It's still Real Madrid. I think Barcelona are a million times better than Real Madrid this season, but at the end of the day, it's still Real Madrid. Sure, they're not playing as a team. Sure, they don't have an identity. Sure, they don't have a system of play. They don't have taxes. They don't have shit. They just have 11 individual players playing on their own, and that, of course, plays hugely in our favor. But nonetheless, they still have some of the best players in the world. They still have Mbappé, Vinicius, Rodrigo, Jude Bellingham. They still have talent. So they might not play as a team, and they might be absolute shit, but they still have individual players who can make a difference. So even though Barcelona is a million times better than Madrid this season, Madrid can still cause you damage. So I'm confident that Barcelona can compete, but nonetheless, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't be careful and cautious, because any of those players that I mentioned could cause Barcelona some damage. Anyways, let's get back to the news and let's talk about how Barcelona's transfer market could get complicated, because, ladies and gentlemen, Iñaki Peña is making things difficult for Barcelona, where he has communicated to the club this summer he either leaves for free or he will stay until the end of his contract. Now, Iñaki Peña has a contract until summer of 2026. Of course, he has decided that he wants to look for minutes somewhere else because he believes that he did really well during the first half of the season, which I do agree. But then, of course, Flick decided to pick Wojciech Szczesny over him. That didn't sit too well with Iñaki Peña. In fact, they had a big fight where Iñaki Peña went to talk to Flick, and Flick was like, sorry, bro, it's going to be Szczesny over you, which I think it is the right decision. But nonetheless, that, of course, didn't sit well with Iñaki. And now with Ter Stegen back, Iñaki, of course, is going to be relegated to third goalkeeper because Wojciech Szczesny is going to renew for another season. So Iñaki has decided to leave, but he has told the club that he wants to leave for free. Now, of course, Barcelona would rather offload him and get a transfer fee, but Iñaki saying you either let me go for free or I'm not leaving this summer. I'm staying until 2026, and then I'm leaving for free, which, of course, is a problem for Barcelona because if Barcelona want to sign players this summer, they need to offload players. And if Iñaki Peña is refusing to leave, that's one less player that would be leaving that could clear space on the wage bill for an incoming signing. But that's not all. I did say the market is getting complicated. Andreas Christensen, he too has told the club, I have a contract and I want to stay. Now, Christensen looked like he too was on his way out. Barcelona were considering offloading him because, of course, we have so many center backs. Christensen hasn't played a single minute all season. Well, he played a few minutes, but he's been out pretty much the whole season. Even though he has come back from his injury, Flick still hasn't given him any minutes. And since he arrived for free, it made absolute total sense to offload him. You know, a player that Flick doesn't count on, a player that came for free. If you offload him, any money that you make would be 100% profit. But Christensen has told Barcelona, sorry, bros, I have a contract and I intend to stay until the end of the contract, which, of course, is also bad because, again, if Barcelona need to sign players, if they want to sign players, they have to offload players. If you can't offload players, you cannot sign new ones. And with Iñaki and Christensen refusing to leave, well, Iñaki wants to leave, but he wants to leave for free. That's obviously a problem, and it looks like the summer transfer market got to take a lot of work. Now, of course, Barcelona could end up convincing these two to leave or could end up, agreeing to Iñaki leaving for free, but it looks like it's going to take some work. It looks like it's not going to be as easy as like, all right, bye, guys. Cool. 2 players out. More space on the wage bill. Bring someone in. Anyways, Maestro says, so spoiled. Got the Mbappe call. +1 after the ref who gave Jude red. Real Madrid TV pressure refs, but when one ref confesses about their pressure for everyone to see, they pretend to be victims. 100% agree with you. Again, when, what was that guy? I think it was Gaia who complained about the refs. He got a 5-match ban. Any coach, any player that's ever complained about the refs in press conferences, they get 3 or 5-match bans. Here's Real Madrid, 2 years. Just trashing refs. No one even bats an eye. Eli says, any thoughts why Fati and 4 are in the rotation now, but not Pablo Torre? He could play the 10 if Olmo rotates as a 9 and probably also the wing because the midfield is a lot more stacked than the fullback positions or the left wing, which left wing we don't have anyone. Fullbacks, we only have Kunde and Balde, and that's it, right? In the midfield, we have 1 million people. That's why. Umaro says, Hansi Flick, please use Iñigo Martinez left back because he's defensive-minded player. Please, Hansi. No, center back is Iñigo Martinez is a natural center back, and the best position for him is the center back. Could he do a good job in the left back? Sure. But his best, strongest position is as a center back, and that's where he should be used. Just because he could be good in another position doesn't mean it's a good idea to do it. Iñigo needs to play in a position where he is the best, where he's the strongest, and where he's strongest is the left back. Kay says, Mo, other reports in Spain says the VAR referee will not ref any Madrid match till the end of the season. I wonder what the ref did. The VAR referee complained about Real Madrid TV. So he too got some backlash. Trini Barca fan says, hey, Mo, shouldn't the Barca victories in court count as points in the league? If they do that, we would be about to... I mean, no, because it has nothing to do with it. But plus, I wouldn't want that because I want Barcelona to win fair square on the field by beating others and by showing that they're better than others. I don't want to be like Real Madrid, who are looking for wins any way possible, whether it's by pressuring referees or getting gifts from referees or whatever it is. I want to win on the field like you're supposed to do. And Colette Podcast, what's up, my man? Says, hey, Mo, great to catch you live. Completely agree with you. Everything you said, pathetic and shameless from Madrid. Also, we need to record an episode after the match. I'm down. Let's do it. The only problem is tomorrow I will be in Toronto. So I don't know if that will work, but let's talk. GT Maestro says, hey, Mo, with Real Madrid's desperation to save face this season, do you trust Ricardo de Burgos Bengochea to put up a fair performance in that Clásico? I don't know if he will or not, but like I've said before, you cannot worry about the referees. All you can worry about is going out there, doing your job, and then the referees don't matter, right? That's the Cruyff philosophy. Johan Cruyff always said, I don't care about the referees. I don't care about anything. All I care about is what I can control. And what I can't control is my team's performance. So therefore, that's the only thing I'm going to worry about. That's the same philosophy that Flick has employed. That's something I've been saying for the last 2-3 seasons. We should only worry about what we can control, which is the team's performance. So we cannot worry about the Burgos Bengochea. We cannot worry about the state of the grass at the Cartuja Stadium. We can't worry about any of that. We need to worry about our performance. The team has to go out there motivated, fully focused, fully engaged with lots of intensity and do what they've been doing this season, which is absolutely dismantle and demolish their opponents, including Madrid, that we have already demolished twice. That's what we need to worry about, not the refs or the grass or anything else or the planet's alignment, none of that bullshit. Gayan says, bro, I type in ChatGPT and even it says historically Real Madrid has often been accused of receiving favorable decisions from referees. What a joke club. They are mentally down already. Yeah. Yusuf says Madrid will never stop this nonsense. This is what they do so that the referees will favor them. But this trip is not going to work. They are always crying for referees. What a shameful to be Madrid. Again, it just shows that they are, mentally speaking, a small club. They really are, because only small clubs do this, because small clubs, they don't have the resources, they don't have the capabilities of winning fair and square, so they try to make up for their disadvantages by resorting to these kind of tactics. And Madrid, at the beginning of the summer, they were like, if we dominated last season with Vinicius, Bellingham, and Rodrigo, what now with Mbappe coming? It's over. They're going to win a sextuple, and all clubs just go home. And not only none of that happened, but now it's like, okay, so if you're such a great team, why are you doing this? Aren't you confident in your players? Aren't you confident in your ability to win without having to resort to these kind of things? Sylvan says, smells like their Galacticos players are shitting themselves. The shame started when Mbappe pretended to get hurt. Rudiger crying like a baby. Asensio trying to jump ship to hide. More shame. Jokers. I hope Rudiger plays tomorrow because, as I said before, I think Rudiger is probably one of the dumbest players to ever play the sport. So as long as he's playing, I think we're good. Danelle says, Mo, I always told my Man U buddy you will win nothing until Rashford leaves Man U. In the winter transfer, my heart was beating fast when I heard he wanted to come to Barca. Thank you, Fatih, for staying. Well, it looks like Fatih's leaving in the summer. Well, anyways. All right, that is all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for your likes, your comments, your subscriptions, and your generous donations. If you haven't hit the like button yet, make sure you do. If you haven't commented yet, make sure you do. If you haven't subscribed yet, what the hell are you waiting for? Make sure you do. Anyways, I will see you in a video later tonight. I will be uploading another video. And again, tomorrow I'm leaving town. I'm going to Canada for work. For a week, I'm going to be working out of Toronto. But don't worry, I will be taking my camera and laptop with me. And I will be doing daily short live streams to keep you up to date on all the news. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next video. And as always, Visca Barça.